Hi guys, it's Eric, EJD715 from the vinyl community. Let's get this camera situated here. There we go. I think that's a little bit too high. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to film a video on Mathew, I think his name is Mathew Smith, on his 10 favorite albums from one decade. Being the kind of the retro kid that I am, if you want to call me a kid, big 80s guy, so I decided to do the 1980s. Some of these were really hard, and I had my 10 favorites, and I did some runners-up, so to say. Some years had 2 runners-up, a lot of them just had 1. So let's get, first things first, this is the first time I've spun this. My dad picked this up for me. It's Pink, Crimson, Red. This is pretty cool stuff, man. The first side was incredible. I just started the second side. It's real ambient, kind of noisy kind of stuff going on. Let's see if I can get this camera situated properly. Put that back there. Yeah, there we go. Alright, perfect. Okay, to get things started. 1980. 1980 was a tough year. Some people would think, well, you're a metal guy, so you'd probably pick like First Iron Maiden or British Steel. Actually, no. Those albums are classic, but this is my number 1 for 1980. Peter Gabriel's third album. This is probably my favorite Peter Gabriel. Intruder, No Self-Control, Games Without Frontiers. I mean, these are just... for those people that don't know, I'm a huge Peter Gabriel fan. Especially his first 5, 6 albums. Recently, he's not really into them that much, but... And of course, his work with Genesis back in the 70s. This, I think, was his finest hour. Although I really like those first 4 albums. For me to say that's really hard, but I think of the first 4, this is his best. Probably actually better than So as well. This is a really nice copy I picked up in St. Louis about 2 years ago. It's the Geffen Records. Now, I know there's one that's... Let me turn this down for a bit. There's one that was released with all German lyrics, but this is the all English version, so... I've never heard the all German version. So my follow-up for 1980, again, you're probably going to be surprised. I've been a fan of this band, this guy, for, since I was an infant. So I can actually say 30 years. Alan Parsons, Turn for Friendly Card. This is, I think, is my favorite from him. I saw him live in 2007, and it was unbelievable. Best. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. I've been to 300 plus shows in my life. Alan Parsons, best show I've ever seen. Amazing, unbelievable. All of his band members sing different songs from his repertoire, and they all have it. Like, he picked out the guys that have the voice to fit those songs. Because on all of his records, if you don't know, he's got like a lot of different vocalists for all of his songs. So, like, one album will have 5 or 6 different vocalists. So he really hit pay dirt with that. But this, I think, is his finest hour, at least my favorite from Alan Parsons. 1981. 1981 was kind of a thin year, honestly. Maybe there was stuff about 1981 I don't know about, but 1981 was hard. I did find one I really do like. I think this is probably my favorite from that year. Priest put out Point of Entry, Maiden put out Killers. This is before thrash, so no thrash bands. I'm sure there's like some Saxon and stuff like that, but my number 1 for 1981, Genesis Abacab. Probably their best album from the 80s. I do like the one after this, the self-titled record. After that, I didn't care for Invisible Touch. Didn't like it at all. So 1981's Genesis Abacab. I know there's like 4 different covers for this. I've had 2 of them, but this was the one in better condition, so I kept this one. Alright, 1982. 1982 was an easy no-brainer for me. I don't even have a follow-up for this. You could have put Number of the Beast. You could have put Scream for Vengeance even. I like this one way better than both of those. My favorite Rush album of all time. Rush Signals. In fact, I even have the poster on my wall. And there you go. It's my favorite Rush album of all time from my second favorite band of all time. Rush Signals. This is my 3rd copy I've owned. This one's in perfect condition, so I gave the other ones away to my father and whoever else. Alright, 1983. I've got a follow-up to this one. A recent discovery of mine, which will probably surprise a lot of people too. But I'm in a lot of different varieties of music. 1984, which came out in 1983 by Van Halen. This one's weird. It's got an upside down back. I don't know what the deal is with it. It's in dead mint condition. Hold on. Excuse me. This is my favorite of the David Lee Roth era. I'm sorry. I'm not a big David Lee Roth fan. I know people hate me for that, or people think that's blasphemy, but I'm just not. I'm not a big David Lee Roth fan. But I think this was his finest work with the band. And unfortunately, for most, it was his last with the band. So, favorite album from 1983. My follow-up to that, again, it's going to surprise some people. Wang Chung, Points on a Curve. This is some of the best techno pop I've ever heard. Good songwriting, good hooks, cool use of technology for the time, like digital voice sounding things on it. I really like it. There's not a bad track on this album. I think there's follow-up to this album, which was Mosaic, which had the big hits on it. Not as good of a record as this. This is fantastic. I thought I picked up this upgrade copy for like $4 recently. Okay. Now you're gonna be surprised with this one. This one's kind of a, how do I say it? I discovered this band in the 90s. My uncle recorded for me. And after that, I just became a huge fan of this guy. The band is called Planet P, and the album is Pink World. This is a phenomenal 80s prog arena rock with it's a concept record about this kid named Artemis. He's like 8 years old. He's deaf, but he like saves like the chosen ones from like a nuclear annihilation. And he builds like this thing called the Zone, kind of saves them from a nuclear war. Really, really kind of a dark album, but this is phenomenal stuff. I have 2 copies of this. This is the standard one, and then I have a promo that my father gave me. It's on pink vinyl. It's really cool. I never play this because I think it's so neat. Check that out. It's on the stupid MCA label, but who cares? It's pink vinyl. I've never seen pink vinyl before. I've only seen this one other time, and I should have bought it. At least the pink vinyl version. So, for those of you that like arena rock / prog, check this out. Tony Carey is the main guy in this band, who played keyboards with Deep Purple on some of their classic albums from the 70s. But he ventured out and did his own thing, and this is awesome, awesome stuff. I listen to this on a regular basis still. My follow-up for 1984, this is my favorite album from this band, Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith. Just amazing record. I think it's their best. It might not be I think my favorite's probably, no, this is my favorite. Painkiller would be number 2. So follow-up for 1984, Defenders of the Faith, Judas Priest. Alright, 1985. Again, this might surprise some people. I think this could be one of the best pop albums from the 80s, period. Top 3 or top 5 pop albums from the 80s. Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair. Incredible, incredible pop album. I mean, these guys, Roland and Kurt were just amazing songwriters. And this was their finest hour. The first album is good, The Hurting. A lot darker than this. This was definitely more pop accessible. But this is my father's. I inherited my father's record collection, and this one's an OG pressing, dead mint condition. I know this is a pretty common record. It sold millions and millions. But I hold this one kind of close because it's from my father's record collection, and he kept meticulous care of his stuff. But I subsequent that one with, I recently bought the Mobile Fidelity version. So I've played this a couple times, kind of saved my father's old copy. But I know a lot of metalheads out there don't like 80s pop stuff. I love it. This is phenomenal stuff. Follow-up for 1985 though, surprise. Dio's Sacred Heart. Love this record. It's actually my favorite Dio record. I love Last in Line and Holy Diver and all that. But this I think is my favorite. Vivian Campbell's guitar playing is phenomenal on this record. I wish they could have worked things out and he could have played longer with them. But this is my favorite. The title track, Rock and Roll Children, King of Rock and Roll, Hungry for Heaven, Just Another Day. This song is just smoke. It's just a great album. Love it. All right, 1986. Now a lot of people think, oh, you should have you're a thrash guy. You should have Peace Sells or Master of Puppets or Rain in Blood. Nope. 2 other ones I have. My favorite album of 1986. This album was like my high school soundtrack. Somewhere in Time by Iron Maiden. And this is a cool version. I'll show you why. I bought this in England when I was there. When I got back from when I came back from Afghanistan, I stopped in London. It's a Greek pressing on like orange marble vinyl. Original pressing from Greece. It's in really good condition, and I picked it up really cheap at a market in Cambridge, England, actually. Open air market, right in downtown Cambridge. I bought this and some other things, which I'll show as well. But if you can see the back of this after I get it in here, it's all in Greek. You can see that up there. It's all in Greek. So yeah, Greek pressing of Somewhere in Time. Now I'd like to get one of the reissues so I can play it and save this one. But they're still available and they're pretty inexpensive. So eventually I get one. My favorite album, 1986, Somewhere in Time. My follow-up though, I couldn't have this number 1 because I got one coming up from this band. Queensryche, Rage for Order. Love this record. This is Jeff Tate's finest hour. I know I'm making bold statements here, but this is when Jeff Tate, I love him, Operation Mindcrime, but you can see where his voice, it peaked here, it went down a pinch on Operation Mindcrime, and went down a little bit on Empire, and then after Empire, it went to hell. But Rage for Order is it's my second favorite Queensryche album, and my second favorite album of 1986. Right here, mint condition. Picked this up in St. Louis a couple years ago. Same time I got that Peter Gabriel, actually. All right. So 1987. I've got 3 for 1987. 1987 was a real good year. My most influential album. Well, I gotta say, I have my main album, then I have 2 follow-ups. My favorite record of 1987. Momentary Lapse of Reason, Pink Floyd. Again, this is one of my father's copies. I don't play this very often because I don't want to damage it. Mint condition. It's probably been played 4 or 5 times. Amazing record. I don't care. Roger Waters is gone. In fact, I think that's a good thing because I'm not a huge Roger Waters fan. I like some of his stuff, I like his solo albums, and some of his work with Pink Floyd, of course. But David Gilmour is where it's at. He's a better songwriter, better vocalist. So this is right up my alley. This was supposed to actually be a David Gilmour solo record, and I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad it became an actual Pink Floyd release. Alright, follow-up for 1987. The album that inspired me to pick up the guitar, and I think it did for a lot of people my age. Joe Satriani's Surfing the Alien. Another one from my father's collection, Dead Mint Condition, off the Relativity label. I remember the first time I heard this album, I think as a lot of people were, if you didn't know much guitar rock before this, blew my head away. I mean, I remember playing on a tennis racket, running around in the living room, thinking I was cool playing Joe Satriani on a tennis racket. But yeah, awesome record. My second follow-up for 1987, a great thrash record. This could be my favorite Exodus record, Pleasures of the Flesh. No, I take that back. Impact is Imminent is my favorite Exodus record. This is the Combat. This is the original release. I picked this up in Denver about 6 months ago for a really good price. It's in really good condition. Plays nice. Sounds good. Great record. Very underappreciated album from them. A lot of people like, Bonded by Blood or, some of the more modern stuff. But alright. 1988. My favorite album of 1988. Again, I could have had a second follow. In fact, hold on. Alright. I've got a favorite and 2 follow-ups. And these are more in vein of what you'd expect from me. Number 1 favorite album, 1987. 88, sorry. Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime. This could be, like I said, I know Jeff Tate's voice kind of peaked at Rage, and it started to go down a little bit here. His voice is still awesome here, don't get me wrong. But I think as a band, this is collectively their best work. Amazing record. I actually have 3 copies. This is a US pressing. I have a really haggard British pressing. In fact, you can see like it looks like a dog ate the corner of it. I picked up cheap when I was there in Cambridge. Same time I bought the Iron Maiden Greek pressing. So I got this, and I also have the really crappy reissue from Capitol from a couple years ago. It's actually pressed oblong, so you can see the stylus go like this the whole time. And it actually, if you can hear it in the songs too, especially in like the more clean passages. But yeah, favorite album 1988, Operation Mindcrime. I have two follow-ups for 1988. I mean, what metalhead in the late 80s didn't expand their horizons when they heard this album? I mean, this was like the gateway album for anybody in their 30s, mid to late 30s. When you heard this record, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. So technical, so good. This is my favorite Metallica album. I don't think it's their best. I think their best is probably Puppets. But this is my favorite Metallica album. This is the reissue. This is the Universal reissue from 2008. Apparently it was remastered, but the volume on it is still really low. I don't know what the deal is with it. Still love this record. Amazing work. My second follow for that one, I just bought this. I haven't even opened it yet. Slayer South of Heaven. This is a reissue. I don't know if it's going to be the red one or not, but let's open it up. I don't have my knife on me, sorry. I was going to say, hey, let's open it up, but never mind. Slayer South of Heaven, phenomenal album. My favorite Slayer record, but not my favorite from 1988. And 1989, again, was another hard year. 89 was like, it was weird. Maybe I don't have much from 89. Yeah, it was just a hard year. This technically came out in the States in 1990, came out everywhere else in 1989. Sanctuary's Into the Mirror Black. My favorite Sanctuary record, amazing album. This is the reissue on Music for Vinyl. It came slightly damaged from the factory. Not the album's fine, but the spine is split. It's split, you can see at the edge. Overall, though, it's an amazing record, and my pick for 1989. So that's my video for the Pick Your Decade. Thanks for watching, guys, and comment if you like. Thanks.